Hi, this is Tiffany. How are you doing today? Thank you very much for stopping by my channel. For those who don't know who I am currently a senior undergraduate and an accepted premed who will attend medical school this fall 2021. I am super excited about it. Anyways, I enjoy sharing my tips and resources to help all of you to get to your dream, which if you hear, I assume is getting into medical school. Today, I will go over what I included in my letter recommendation request package. I thought my package was very sufficient because my writers got back to me within 2 days and submitted the letters within 3 weeks. The letters got processed immediately after they submitted them. There were no complications because I provided them with all the information they needed. And many of my mentees have asked me for this, so I thought I would share it to all of you. If you want to look at these packages in the PDF version, please visit my blog where I attach them in a downloadable form. If you like my content, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions, okay? So during a typical year, it is recommended to ask them in person just because it seems more sincere and you can actually tell if the writer is willing to write you a good letter of recommendation just by the way they respond to you. But this is a COVID cycle, so I could only send them email, but because I already met them or visited them not too long ago, so I guess that was fine. So this is the email that I sent my professor to ask for the letter of recommendation from them. And prior to sending this email, I built a really good relationship with my professor where I told them that in the future I would apply for graduate school. So this is nothing out of the blue, and they expected that sometimes in the future I would ask them for a letter of recommendation. And so the first part, I said I hope that they were doing okay because it was during COVID-19 season. And I did tell them the reason why I applied at such a late date because of my COVID MCAT exam that could potentially delay everything. But then lucky that it went through and I got my score and I was happy with it and I decided to pursue. And then I told them that I straight up tell them I wanted to ask for a letter of recommendation and if they were okay with it. And I said that I trusted them because I built such a good relationship with them. But regardless, even if you have a good relationship with them, you always tell them that if they're not able to write one, then that would be fine because you probably don't want to sound very pushy and expect them to write you one regardless. And I also let them know that if they need any additional information, let me know. And I am there. I'm willing to help with anything they need, just so it sounds very supportive. And lastly, I included my credentials, just so it sounds professional. And then depending on whether they said yes or no to you, when they say yes to me, I attach the drive where I have all my additional information about me to help them write their letters. In the drive I sent to my letter of recommendation writers, I created 3 folders: Recommender's Guideline, Additional Materials, and Transcripts. The first one is the Recommender's Guideline. This one includes the AAMC guidelines for letter recommendation writers, which is a detailed instruction for your writers. It shows the standard expectation that medical schools are looking for in the letters. For example, assessment of students, their contribution, behavior, etc. This document also includes the list of 15 core competencies that AAMC hopes for your writers to include. I have made a video talking about how to incorporate these competencies in your activity section of your application, so don't forget to check out that video because it will be very helpful if you can send your letter of recommendation writers the materials that have the competencies you want to show. This will help your writers to know what they should emphasize when writing for you and also help to connect your application. The next one is the letter recommendation additional information / checklist. I created this one myself because a lot of times the writers are not sure about the format and they could forget to date it or sign it. And this would be very problematic if your application is all completed, but the medical schools put it on hold because your writers forgot to date it. So this comes in handy as a reminder to remind them of what the format is, which includes the letterhead, credentials, signature, date, AAMC ID, and any other ID like AACommerce, AMCAS if applicable. If you apply to more than one system, maybe explain to them what the differences are as well. Since I applied for DO school, I made sure to write them a little introduction to explain what it is that I'm applying for. This is just in case, but I think this would give them a clear idea of what philosophy I'm going for, so they can expect the rest of my application to cater towards that holistic approach. The third one in this package is optional because I actually received this from one of my professors. This document is a summary of what needs to be included when asking for a letter of recommendation and some more personal questions to remind the writer of the relationship between you and them, how good of a student you were, what made you worthy of their time to write you a good and non-generic letter of recommendation. I personally liked how this professor requested me this because it seems like he cared about the quality of the letter and not just to copy and paste my name on his generic pre-written letter rec for every other student, because this did happen before. So do you have to write this? Not really. If you met that writer recently, but if it's been a while since you last saw them, maybe it's better to include this request guideline along with your response for each question. Again, if you need a closer look at these, check out my blog where I attached them. So that was the first folder. The second folder is the additional materials. In this folder, I included another sheet of core competencies that were relevant to my experience and achievement. I have made a video about the experience section which shows you many popular extracurricular examples. I also demonstrated how to incorporate these competencies into your activity section. So I suggest that you check it out before you write your own section and attach it to the letter recommendation package along with your personal statement draft, because having the experience and achievement summary in your package will definitely give your writers a big picture of what kind of work you have done to prepare yourself for medical school. I also include my resume in there as a bullet point version of my extracurricular. I think the more information they know about you, the better. And also, note that your personal statement doesn't have to be the final draft, because you can actually request a letter of recommendation before you submit your application. In fact, I highly suggest that you request a letter of recommendation as soon as the application opens to avoid any delay after you submit the rest of your application. Writers usually take somewhere between 2 weeks to 2 months to finish their letter of recommendation, so the earlier they submit, the better. Just in case if there is anything wrong with the letters, your application timeline doesn't get affected as much. And the final folder to be included is your transcript or transcripts. If you like me, I have 2 transcripts from community colleges and 1 from a 4-year institution. The reason why I think it was valuable to include a transcript is that sometimes you would be indicated that you were on the dean list, or if you achieve any award from the school or any significant internship, etc. You can send them either official or unofficial transcripts. I don't think it matters much which one you send them. Just keep in mind that you do need an official transcript for the actual application. And that was the final piece of my letter of recommendation request package. Again, please visit my blog for the PDF downloadable version if you want to attach them in your own package. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more helpful content for the medical admission process and how I go about my pre-med, med life. Thank you so much for stopping by. Until next time, good luck and take care.